MTN Sports. This is Grizzly Insider, sponsored by Albertsons Safeway.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second edition of the Griz Insider. Kyle Hansen alongside the voice of the Griz, Riley Corcoran. Riley, what a weekend in St. George for the Grizzlies.
It was great. They improved to 2-0. A dominating effort, maybe some question marks after Butler after that closer game. Not the case in St. George last weekend.
So St. George, fast start, similar to Butler a little bit, but they kind of didn't take their foot off the gas. So, just from that perspective, that Trevin Gradney pick right off the gate kind of set the tone in this one.
It really did. From the opening possession, and really the defense, I think, was under the microscope, Kyle, going into this. With the spread attack that Utah Tech wants to go with on offense, how is the defensive line going to get pressure? How's the back end of the secondary going to perform? Well, I would say they passed with flying colors, but it was a lot of symmetry. We'll talk about that with Coach Hauk here during the show, but it seemed that all three phases were working together. After that interception, then Clifton McDowell goes to work, leads the offense right down to score, and the Grizz, like you said, they never let up.
You called it a week ago with Nick Osmo. You mentioned how he was a little banged up coming out of fall camp, and obviously got the call in this game against Utah Tech, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, what can you say about his performance?
He looked as good as I've seen him look, Kyle, during his Grizzly career, and maybe holding him out that extra week was beneficial. I mean, when you average 10 yards per carry, you're making good things happen. 12 carries for Nick, and people don't realize he's one of the fastest guys on the team. He had some burst on Saturday night, and that obviously is going to do wonders for the Grizzly offense.
And sticking with the offense, Clifton McDowell, like you mentioned at starter, it makes you wonder when the last time when the Grizzlies had a starting quarterback who was a run-first guy, right? Because they've had guys who can run, but it's not been like the guy who that's his main strength. Obviously, he was 7 for 10 passing, and he seemed to engineer the offense well. It was kind of interesting to watch the Grizz do that.
It really was, kind of that different wrinkle, and just to show their versatility. Dalton Snead comes to mind, but we all know that he was really good throwing the football too, right? But the run-first aspect of it, what I can see from my chair, it has the defense on their heels because you're thinking run first, and Clifton McDowell showed that he still is capable with the pass a little bit too.
For sure, right, and he seemed ready for the moment.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, those wrinkles, like you mentioned, Eli Gilman, another big game. But one thing I thought interesting on the defensive side of the ball, with 3 interceptions, with Trevin, Nash Fouch, and Trajan Cotton, all ended up leading to touchdowns for the offense. So one thing I thought was interesting in this game is the Grizz are taking advantage of those takeaways.
They really were, the momentum piece of it, and just good to see those guys get their hands on the football, because that's something that I think all three of them would say that maybe they've, I wouldn't say struggled with, but just have worked on throughout the course of their career. And a special shout out to Trajan Cotton. That guy's been playing 6 years of college football. Yep. That was his first career interception against Utah Tech.
Wild, right? And it comes at a great time, right? In the third quarter, things are kind of, little fluctuating a little bit, kind of maybe a little stale coming out of halftime, and then obviously the Grizz are able to engineer it and go score.
Yeah, it was interesting in the second half of that game because the game was not in doubt in the second half. It was 36-0, and it was more of, okay, how are the Grizz going to develop? How do you still keep a little bit of momentum? That certainly was a piece that did that, and as Coach Hauk's going to reference, I mean, getting all 70 players in a Division I football game, that had to be a highlight of the second half when the game seemed to be moving at a snail's pace. For
sure. Well, and ultimately, too, 43-13 victory for the Grizzlies. Just anything else kind of stand out to you from this one?
I just think the way that they had the collective effort together and being able to improve from week 1 to week 2, that's so vital here, where I feel the last couple of seasons the Grizz have started out so highly ranked, and with so many expectations that there really wasn't much room to grow moving forward throughout the course of the season. I think it's different this year, Kyle, and we saw improvement from week 1 to week 2, and I'm sure the Grizz and everyone else looking forward to improvement from week 2 to week 3.
It's fun to watch, and we've got a great show coming up for you as we have cornerback Trevin Gradney in studio to talk about his hot start to the season. And coming up next, Riley catches up with Coach Hauk to talk about the win over Utah Tech.
There's more coverage of the Grizzlies online anytime at montanasports.com. Welcome back to Grizzly Insider, sponsored by Albertsons Safeway.
Welcome back to the Griz Insider. The Grizz 2-0 after knocking off Utah Tech 43-13 on Saturday night. Here with head coach Bobby Hauk. And coach, here's a quick turnaround. We'll talk about that in a moment. But what'd you like most from your team's dominant effort and a dominant win in St. George, Utah?
Well, there's a lot of things to like. One of my favorite things, I suppose, is to be able to get away from somebody early like that and then have a chance to play all kinds of guys. And it's great for the guys on our team to be able to get in the game and contribute and play, and a lot of smiles on that playing in that locker room after the game.
Always a happy flight home after that win, and I've been around you enough to know that the season is broken up into 11 one-week chapters, and its growth from week 1 to week 2 is so important, maybe as important as any week in the season. So what did you like from a growth standpoint? What were some of the focal points leading up to the game that maybe you wanted to clean up from week 1, and what did you see in that regard?
Yeah, and I've always felt that's the most productive way to approach it, certainly. And if anytime you're not focused on the task at hand, and it doesn't have to be just football, it could be anything, but you got to focus on what's in front of you and take care of that, and that's how we do it. We were cleaner. I thought we were sharper than the week before, and certainly we want to continue that trend.
Well, certainly when it comes to all 3 phases of the game, you guys had standouts across the board. Let's talk on the offensive side. Clifton McDowell got the start at quarterback. Before we get to him, the running game just seemed to open up all game long. You had 262 yards rushing. Just seemed you were able to run it at will when the game was still maybe in question at the time. So let's talk about the rushing attack and the 2, 3, 4-headed attack you guys had there rushing the football.
Well, it's nice to keep rolling offensive linemen and different ball carriers at people. I think it causes problems for the defense. But I think the thing that causes the most problem is when the offensive line's playing with a certain temperament. The running backs are running with their pads down, and it's knees and shoulder pads are what you get to tackle, and then the guys on the perimeter are working hard in the run game. When you have that going, you're going to run the ball successfully.
What'd you like from Clifton McDowell? It's such a great story, Coach. 4th school in 4 years and his first start at the Division I level, and obviously 1-0. That's the most important step. But what'd you like from your starting quarterback?
He's undefeated. He should retire.
That's right.
Cliff did a good job. We've had a plan for the quarterbacks as we talked on the radio last night. He did a nice job with it. We were able to play 3 different quarterbacks in the game, which was great. I think with our quarterbacks, Cliff included, we need to keep working. The more they play, the better they're going to be, the sharper they'll be. And I'm encouraged by that.
Well, we're going to get to defense here in a moment because Kyle Hansen's going to talk with Trevin Gradney. I want to talk about him, but special.
That's good. That's a good topic.
That's a great topic. Trevin Gradney's been a star so far. Special teams wise, 2 standout plays. First off, the Junior Bergen punt return, his 3rd in his career. I have a feeling there's going to be a couple more for sure. And then, I know you'll love this, the Travis Benham 60-yard punt that actually set up that short field. You downed it at the 1-yard line. Just great execution across the board. Talk about your special teams play highlighted by the punt return touchdown.
The kicking game's been good the first couple weeks, and I like it that we've been ready to go out of the chute here. To actually get it in the end zone is, we seem to be doing that quite a bit. And you mentioned juniors had 3 of them. That's not all that common to see. I don't know how many there were across college football the last couple of weeks, but those guys are working hard at it. The punt, downing it inside the 1, we really feel like if you can pin somebody down in there and get a 3 and out, it's worth some points. And obviously it was worth some quick points with the punt return.
Well, nice with poetry in motion, all 3 units working together. And then let's talk about your defense. You pitched a shutout for 3 quarters. You took away that spread and shred attack. The defensive line, who's been under the microscope, they put on a lot of pressure. And the back end, you had 3 takeaways, all for interceptions from your secondary. The collective effort from your defense certainly was impressive, Coach.
Yeah, defense is 11 on the run, 11 on the pass. It's not like if they're running the ball, it's the front's problem, or they're throwing the ball, it's the back end's problem. We benefit from a team effort there, and I thought the defense did a good job. We played the run and the pass pretty well through 3 quarters at least, and then again we kept moving some people through the lineup, and guys got experience and got to see what it was like to play against a Division I team. Certainly we've got some really good things and more to correct this afternoon.
All 70 players for the Grizzlies did get into the game. Final question for you. Kyle is going to talk with Trevin Gradney. What a story he's been. 2 interceptions now in his first 2 weeks. His career path has been awesome, but your thoughts on Trevin Gradney and what he's been able to do so far?
Well, as the 3 of us were talking off the air, Trev's improved from, when he was a junior in high school, not starting, to what he's become. And, I like the fact that, he cut his teeth in the special teams, and now he's a full-time player on the defense. He's making plays, but he's a guy, it's what I believe in. Guys develop, guys improve, they get better. We coach them hard, they play hard, they try hard, it's important to them. That permeates our locker room, but he's a shining example of what it means to stick with it and become a great player.
Well, Kyle Hansen will have a conversation with Trevin Gradney when we come back on the Griz Insider.
Get social with Grizzly fans and follow MTN Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Welcome back to Grizzly Insider, sponsored by Albertson Safeway.
Welcome back to Griz Insider, and I'm excited to be joined by one of the rising stars of the Griz football team right now, quarterback Trevin Gradney. Trevin, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We got a little bit of a Billings connection here, and excited to have him here for that reason. But Trevin, obviously your play these first two games has been off the charts, a couple of picks, forced a fumble against Utah Tech. Just walk me through what it's been like for you getting this opportunity to start at corner.
Yeah, it's been a blessing, honestly. I've kind of put in my time here, I think, and I'm truly blessed to be able to be in the position I am and be able to start for this football team. It's been really, really, really fun.
You mentioned the time you've put in,
Yeah.
and you're right. You know, you obviously special teams and things like that. So as you're kind of coming into this fall camp, what was your preparation like, knowing you were going to be a focal point on defense?
Yeah, I kind of just focused my summer on trying to get myself better, trying to get myself in position to do what I can do and know what I can do, but I've had a lot of good people in my corner, and it's been really good. Just trying to be able to provide for the team, just to be able to win. You know.
When you get a chance, when you know your number's going to be called, but you're going into that first game, what was the like? Was it like nerves, jitters? Like these first couple of games, what's that experience been like for you?
Yeah. Honestly, last week I didn't sleep much before that Butler game. That was a lot of nerves, a lot of anxiety, but I kind of knew what I could do, knew what I was capable of, but it was just the fact that I had to go out there and do it and try and get it done for the team. But yeah, this last week was a little bit better. It kind of settled in a little more, yeah, just having good guys around me, just guys making plays around me too, has been awesome.
Right, and for you, walk me through both those interceptions, both very athletic plays. You know, the first one you're diving, the second one's the one-handed grab. Just what did you see on those plays, and how were you able to make just such athletic plays? Because that wasn't just like a standard pick, like you had to go and get the ball.
Yeah, that first one against Butler, we were in man, and I was in trail a little bit actually, and kind of just saw the ball thrown. Just knew that we had to go make plays on the ball. We kind of emphasized that before the half. Coach Houck had really harped on us and trying to get that ball back, and yeah, just made a good play on that ball. And then last night, yeah, we had a good call. We had a good call to to what they were running, and we had a good game plan going in. But yeah, I just did my job and kind of snagged that one too. So that was good.
Very athletic plays,
yeah.
Unbelievable. So for you, you mentioned kind of off the top your progression within the Griz football program. Obviously in 2021, you're first team All Big Sky pick for special teams. You've kind of been a standout on that side of the ball. So how have you kind of used that time to take advantage of your opportunities that have now prepared you for this season?
Yeah, I'm a competitor by nature, I think, and I think that's all special teams is just wanting to compete and wanting to get out there and show what I can do, and that's helped me a lot mentally for sure. Just knowing that I can go out and compete with these guys, and you know, being a corner from Montana, you don't see a lot of that. You know,
right.
So I think just trying to get my feet under me and knowing that you belong here and just being sound in what you do has been really good.
And that progression, I mean, what's it been like? You know, just kind of like from day one being like a kid on campus to now kind of working through special teams and working to defense. It feels like there's a lot of learning curves, but it seems like you've kind of embraced that.
Yeah, too. Yeah, it's definitely been a lot of learning curves for sure. I've had to practice a lot more than I thought I was gonna have to, and but it's been great. I've loved every second of it, and that progression has been fulfilling for me to see, and I'm sure for my family and friends too. It's been really good.
For sure. Well, and ultimately, you know, just kind of to piggyback off that, how special has this been? Knowing you're getting this opportunity now because of all this work, because of your patience. Like, how special has this been for you to kind of see this opportunity kind of keep growing year by year?
It's been so surreal to me. Again, I'm so blessed just to be able to be in the position I am and do what I do, and hopefully I can keep it going. But yeah, that progression has been really fulfilling and just surreal, honestly.
These first couple of games have been pretty good for the Griz defense, and obviously against Utah Tech, you guys forced 4 turnovers. So being ingrained in this defense, what's it been like seeing your guys make plays and you guys are really coming through in the clutch and only holding the 13 points?
It's been good. I mean, always playing in this defense is always going to be good. We love, you know, doing what we do and swarming to the ball and getting 11 hats on the ball all the time. It's awesome. We celebrate each other, and it's been really good.
For you, Trevin, Ferris State's up next for you guys in conference play. So for you guys, in your mind, what is the biggest thing you guys need to do to sustain the success in this hot start for you guys?
Yeah, I think Ferris State's going to come in and they're going to have some stuff for us. That's going to be a good game. We're going to have a good week of prep. But yeah, just kind of continue just to grow our team and catapult ourselves in the conference could be good. but yeah, hopefully we can continue on this journey.
Absolutely. Well, Trevin, thanks so much for coming on the show. It's great to have you.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the hot start.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And coming up, Riley Corcoran will rejoin me, and we'll go ahead and look ahead to that Ferris State game coming up next.
Take coverage of the Griz with you. Download our app for your favorite mobile device today. Welcome back to Grizzly Insider, sponsored by Albertson Safeway.
Welcome back to the Griz Insider. Montana 2-0 and a top 15 in the country, getting set for a big-time matchup against Ferris State. Before Kyle and I break it down, we ask Coach Houck his thoughts on the Bulldogs.
Well, we've got our hands full with these guys. I know a couple things about them, and we obviously know where they're from and all that, but I know that they don't ever lose, first of all. Yeah. They win all their games for years. And then the other thing I know is, my opinion is they're the best team we've played yet.
Well, we cannot wait for Saturday, Coach.
All right, we got to have everybody there Saturday night. Here we go.
And the Bulldogs are certainly going to be a challenge coming in here. And Kyle, don't tell Coach Houck and don't tell this team they're a Division II squad, because they've won 57 of their last 60 games. And to say they're a dynasty, that'd probably be an understatement.
I would agree. And it's funny because when you see them on the non-conference schedule, that was the team everybody was kind of talking about a little bit, was this Ferris State. And personally, I didn't know much about them at all until they were on the schedule. But then you're like, oh, two-time D2 national champions, 50-plus games. It hadn't lost on the road in, what was it, 5 or 6 years it was, or something like that?
Yeah, since 2017, 28 straight road wins. So we'll see. I mean, that's the battle right there with Montana winning 22 of their last 24 at home. We all know the special magic that comes night games inside Washington Grizzly Stadium. I mean, I think right away, too, those playoff games, SEMO, Eastern Washington. And I'm not trying to oversell this. This might have a playoff-type feel for two programs that expect to win, that expect to be on top.
Well, I agree. And you think about that road win streak, and the Griz are now tasked with doing that. Like, they're putting that road streak up a level against the FCS. It's not another D2 school. Like, they're going up to play Division I school. And so it's fascinating in that regard. And, we've seen teams in the past, like a North Dakota State was good at D2. And we all know what's happened at the FCS level. So it makes you wonder about this Ferris State. I mean, 50-plus games is insane.
Out of Michigan, of course, and they're looking to be just the second Division II team to ever go for a three-peat. North Alabama did it in the 1980s. That was also a weird twist. That was a Grizzly opponent a couple of years ago. But just breaking it down a little bit, they also, Kyle, have a two-quarterback system, and they have a very similar offense to the Grizzlies' rivals over there in Bozeman. That could provide a really good test moving forward going into conference season.
Absolutely. When you're seeing these dual quarterback systems more and more, right? So it's interesting that D2 level also catching on. And like you mentioned, the rivals run it. And so now it's something to take a look at. But also you have some tape in the past. You can maybe see some similarities. Maybe that helps them. And then, like you said, Ferris State's going to come in here fired up, right? It's going to be a great atmosphere. They're going to come in here. They have something to prove. The Griz, this is not an opponent they should take lightly.
Really, it shouldn't be. And you go down to Ferris State, they were trailing 21-10 last week, had a good second half comeback, so they're ready to go. How excited are you for the blackout? I know fans are talking about it. They're going to leak out on social media throughout the course of the week the jersey that will come out for the Grizzlies, special jersey, special helmet, fireworks after, and there might just be someone pretty special raising the 37 flag. So blackout feel has everyone excited.
I look forward to it. I love the night games at Washington Grizzly Stadium. I think, honestly, the one I think of is the Eastern Washington playoff game a few years ago. There's just something different about it, that atmosphere. It could be a playoff atmosphere in September. We love it. And, it's just you can't beat it this time of year.
Well, we can't wait. Kickoff's going to be 6 o'clock on Saturday. We'll wrap up the show next here on the Griz Insider.
There's more coverage of the Grizzlies online anytime at montanasports.com. Welcome back to Grizzly Insider, sponsored by Albertson Safeway.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of Griz Insider. Thanks so much for watching. And as Riley mentioned, it's going to be a great atmosphere in Missoula on Saturday.
It really will. It's the crown jewel of the non-conference. Montana trying to make it perfect before they begin their quest for a Big Sky Conference championship. And as we talked about earlier in the show, night games inside Washington Grizzly Stadium, they just hit a little different.
A little different, a little special, and can't wait for the atmosphere. It's going to be special.
It'll be awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for watching us. Have a great night, everyone.